Giants, they have till Monday to get a long-term deal done. After Monday, listen carefully, y'all. After Monday, he can only play on the franchise tag this season, roughly $10 million. The problem, Saquon Barkley does not want to play on the tag. Reports say Saquon is prepared to sit out portions of the season. We have seen before star running back Le'Veon Bell sit out the entirety of a season because he did not want to play on the tag. This is huge news.
Yeah.
Huge news.
Yeah.
You're talking about one of the best players in all of football and one of the best running backs in all of football. There is no story bigger than the one we are about to discuss. Here's the question, though, Jay.
Yeah.
What in the world should Saquon Barkley do?
Well, Saquon, it's either you show up or you don't show up.
Okay.
Clearly. So if you're going to show up, you show up to camp. If you're not going to show up to camp, you don't show up, period. The whole football season if you got to play under the tag.
It's that big a deal for you?
It's that big of a deal for me because at the end of the day, they don't care about Saquon right now. If you do not get Saquon's deal done and Saquon says, you know what, I'm going to hold out for the preseason, Saquon's not just going to come back and play against the Dallas Cowboys and beat Saquon Barkley. He has no football legs. He ain't been at no practices, right? And you know what? This is a guy that has battled some injuries. This is how you get hurt.
Yeah.
And if he gets hurt playing under the franchise tag, there is no more big-time money for him next year. So it sucks for Saquon Barkley. So for me, if you are saying, listen, in your mind right now, with your agent right now, look, we're going to hold out for preseason, eliminate that. If you're even thinking about coming back, come back in preseason. You can get hurt any play. You can get hurt first play of the Cowboys. You can get hurt first play of training camp. But at least you come to training camp and you get your football legs and you're in really good football shape to go out there and have your mind right to have a really good season.
I like that. I think Saquon must be selfish. Selfishly show up to camp. Selfishly work as hard as you've ever worked. Selfishly prehab, not rehab. Don't wait until you get hurt. Selfishly prehab. Selfishly work as hard as you've ever done so you can selfishly have the best season you've ever had. If the Giants are successful, great. If they're not, it's all good. But Saquon, selfishly, you need to ball. Don't let the tag play you. You play the franchise tag.
Like that.
How do you play the franchise
Like
tag?
that.
You play well on the franchise tag. Because if you ball on the tag, what has to happen? Worst case scenario, they tag you again. That means you get $22 million fully guaranteed over 2 years. No running back has that kind of money over the next 2 years. $22 million fully guaranteed. Or best case scenario, you ball on the tag, $10 million now, you get a long-term deal. If it's not New York, it's somewhere else with some real money. Be selfish, but it's counterintuitive. Don't be selfish in the sense of I'm going to sit at home, kick my feet up and chill. Be selfish in the sense of I'm going to work so hard selfishly and I'm going to get mine and then I'm going to cash in. That's what Saquon has to do.
I like
Joy, where do you stand?
Sounds good. But this is like any business. If you don't pay someone what they're worth, you're not getting the full employee.
That's true.
I'm worth this. I'm better than this guy. I've carried this company for this long. I was the most popular player when I was hurt. And you're not going to pay me? I'm going to show up because I'm going to get this money. And I'm going to play because I want another deal. But if something feels a little funny, it ain't me. It's that guy right there. It's not me. I'm not going out there and injuring myself. For what?
Yeah.
So to risk my future? That's how this works. I hear you, and maybe he will do that, and maybe it'll work out that way. But it's human nature. And also, that's smart ball by Saquon. Saquon doesn't have to be the #1 leading rusher in the NFL next year to get paid. We know how talented he is. It really kind of seems like the only people who don't know how talented Saquon is the Giants. So you have to protect yourself. I'm in the middle of this. You have to be selfish, but part of being selfish is making sure you don't get hurt, making sure you don't do something in the season that damages next season because the Giants aren't concerned about your future. That's the problem with this tag. He's not a quarterback. Quarterbacks can play the tag that way because quarterbacks are in high demand. Quarterbacks are in such high demand that people think Daniel Jones is a franchise quarterback. That's why they paid him first. So I hear you, but it's human nature to protect yourself, and it's smart business to protect himself. So he's not going to go out there and ball and put his body on the line playing on the tag. He's going to play good enough to get a deal next year. He's not going to play through any injury. That's what he should do.
And this is why, and I agree with both y'all. And you brought up a really good point because Saquon has to be all in on this thing if you are coming.
Only way.
You cannot come like me and Joy talked about the other day. I think he's going to be like, man, just like you saying, Joy, y'all gone with all this. Y'all ain't paying me. That type attitude in the locker room and all that. He has to come in, if he's coming in, and he has to be all the way in. And I'm not even talking about all the way in for the Giants.
No.
You got to be all the way in for Saquon Barkley, for yourself mentally, that I'm going to go out here, oh, y'all don't want to pay me? Watch this.
Yep.
Like, he has to be all in. If he's not all in and he's still thinking like, ah, man, y'all ain't paid me, and I'm having that type attitude, then that's a cancer in the locker room that the coaches is probably going to use on you at the end of the season.
Yep.
And you probably not going to play your best football. So mentally he has to be, if he shows up, he got to be locked in.
He has to be locked in, Slick, because at the end of the day, if Saquon goes out there and has a mediocre season, then it's just going to be like, see, that's why we ain't pay you long-term money in the first place.
I hate
it. So the Giants got it right.
Yeah.
Like, that's what the other teams will say.
Well, they didn't get it right.
Of course, but that's what teams will say. So the Giants, the Giants, it makes sense what they did. Because, truth be told, I was thinking about it, unfortunately for running backs. Which running backs have gotten paid, and the team has gone back and said, that was a great deal. Christian McCaffrey got breaded.
Yeah.
But the team he got breaded by, he don't still play for.
Nope.
Ezekiel Elliott got breaded. I believe he's 27 years old, and he's a free agent right now. So when you think about the running backs that have gotten paid, those teams haven't been like, that was a great business decision. Right. So Saquon got to take care of Saquon, Slick.
No, he does. It would be to not showing up really isn't an option. I mean, realistically, we saw what happened with Le'Veon Bell, and the idea, you guys know this as well as anybody, the idea of not playing for a year and then trying to come back and find your stride, or giving up the $10 million and trying to make it up on the backside. I don't think any of that's realistic. And showing up and only going through the motions doesn't work either, because that's like drinking poison and hoping it gets the other person sick. Like, you're only...
What is that, Nelson Mandela?
What's that?
I think it's a Nelson Mandela quote.
That's a good quote right there.
I don't,
Just full of knowledge. Just full of knowledge.
Keep him in the chain.
Bars left and right. I don't know where they come from, right? I think if you use it 3 times,
It's yours.
It's yours.
So look, he's in a tough spot.
Yeah.
But for him to get what he hopes to get on the backside, the only choice he has is to ball out. But I'm looking at what he has to do between now and Monday, which is, for me, he needs to let everybody know what it is exactly that he wants. Because he said, it's a lie that I turned down 2 years and 26. It's a lie that I'm asking for more than Christian McCaffrey
16,
money.
Yeah.
But where are we in there? Because this is what I think he's not utilizing. Look, Lamar Jackson was he negotiated in the public through social media, and ultimately, what did it get him? Got him the highest paid.
Talk about it.
It's the highest paid quarterback.
Yeah.
So, and that's in the 28th largest media market. Saquon Barkley, you're in New York, brother.
Yeah.
You are beloved in New York.
Yeah.
If you're looking for 14 guaranteed for 2 or 3 years, let the world know it, because that pressure that New York Giants fans are going to go, that's reasonable.
Sure.
That's more than reasonable.
Sure.
But he's not taking advantage of that right now.
This is the risk you run, though, and I love that approach. What frustrates me so much, Joy, right now, and Jay right now with the athletes, is like, more now than ever, you can apply pressure.
Yeah.
Public pressure. Use your own voice. Apply pressure. But remember, you can't call for attention and hang up. So if Saquon Barkley tries to say, hey, I want 15 a year, all of a sudden people can pull out receipts and say there are 9 rushers who have more yards than you since you were drafted in 2018. People can and will pull out receipts and say there are 9 running backs who have more total yards than you. So what's hard for me, Jay, is like every now and then you'll think you're going to get all the praise, but no, criticism might come as well with that praise you're hoping to obtain.
But not only that, so like people could come up with that all they want. This running back may be better than you, and that running back may be better than you, and this running back played more games than you. Who the next man up, Acho?
It doesn't work like that for other positions besides quarterback, G.
Why not?
Because quarterback is the only place in which that is perfectly in line. That is the only place that I have seen. Remember, we just saw Quinnen Williams get a deal.
Receiver.
Well, I'm just saying, we just saw Quinn Williams get a deal.
Yeah.
He did not surpass that of Aaron Donald. Even when Patrick Mahomes, who is the greatest quarterback playing, he will get surpassed. He's been surpassed time and time again. Quarterback is the only position that I have seen where that holds
only
true.
thing I'm saying is it's really close.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
You got
Yes,
what
sir.
I'm saying? It's really close. So as for Saquon Barkley, if this stuff is, I'm the next man up. I should be really close,
Fair.
if not more,
Fair.
than what, I don't care what them running backs did behind me the years before, how many games they play. I'm the next man up. I should be really close or the highest paid because I'm the next man up. And that is really at every position. Quarterback, wide receiver, defensive lineman. Like, if I'm that dude, I'm either really close or I'm going past these boys, right? So if you guys is low, $10 million is not really close to 16. It ain't really close to 15.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So as for Saquon Barkley, everybody could look out there like, hey, $10 million under. No. It's an undervalue to me from what I've done and where I'm sitting right now. It's my turn.
He just doesn't run any risk of that either because you already got the tag. So what if you bring up receipts? I'm getting $10 million whether you bring up receipts or not.
True. Yeah.
So who cares who did what and whatever? First of all, that doesn't apply to New York because they didn't do any of that in New York City. They weren't the face of this organization for the past 4 years. They weren't the only thing relevant about the New York Football Giants for the past 4 years. So that doesn't really matter. But also, he has nothing to lose because he's getting this tag regardless. So that part of the negotiation really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They've offered it to him. He can sign it or not. So he's not losing any money by bringing up and trying to apply pressure. So that absolutely matters. So I don't see how he can really lose in that spot.
You know what's crazy about this whole situation?
Break it down for me.
And I'm going to get off track a little bit, but organizations let really good players leave for nothing.
True.
Right? Tagging them, don't want to pay them. They let them leave for nothing. And then they go on the draft and they say, we need a running back. Well, you had one. You know what I mean? The Green Bay Packers, okay, Devontae Adams traded. Now all we heard was, man, they needed a number one.
Yep.
Well, you had one.
Yeah.
I don't care what went on in there. When you have really good players and the best players on your football team, take care of your best players,
Don't let them go.
if you're trying to win.
I have a thought that I will tease to get us back to the Saquon Barkley conversation. I'm curious, and everyone sitting here and you at home, what about the fact that the market has simply depreciated? It's not Saquon Barkley's fault, but the market has depreciated. I had a house in Austin before I moved to LA. Unfortunately, I held on to that house too long, and the market has since depreciated, and I lost a few $100,000. I could be mad, man, but it ain't my fault the market depreciated. Yeah. The market just depreciated. The running back market, as opposed to every other position in football, has depreciated. It's not Saquon's fault, but it is just the facts of the situation.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.